I know, the Vancouver Canucks just won. They beat Seattle in a gutsy comeback victory, a game where they probably should not have won based off of the chances that were going either way. But now, we gotta get back to reality here and start talking about some of the names that we can entertain in trade discussions involving this team. We've got 3 names for you, 3 different conversations, all sparked up by various reports on social media, Elliot Friedman and others, starting out with Jake DeBrusk over here. Yeah, great way to kick off this Vancouver Canucks trade update by talking about a guy whose value is probably at the lowest point it's ever been. Jake DeBrusk is 29 years old, $5.5 million a year till the end of 2032. He's here for a while, my friends, and he is going through it. Last year, he had 48 points and 28 goals in 82 games played. This year, he is on pace for 38 points and 20 goals. He's only got 17 points this season, which, if he keeps up this pace, will be one of the lower producing years he has had in the National Hockey League. Say what you want about media interviews, how Jake DeBrusk says all the right things, he takes accountability for his struggles, and he emphasizes his desire to improve. That's all fantastic. But at the end of the day, this is what Elliot Friedman went out there and said on 32 Thoughts yesterday. This was about Jake DeBrusk getting benched. Elliot says people may think this is trade-related, with Vancouver wanting to move players, but it's way too early to go there. I don't know if you're jumping to that conclusion yet. We're not going to go out there and fully say that Jake DeBrusk is going to be pushed out, but, when you think about the Vancouver Canucks as a team that is in the quote-unquote mushy middle right now, and I say mushy middle fully knowing that the team is one of the worst teams in the NHL standings-wise, but they have so many guys who are under this archetype of unproductive, supposedly top 6 caliber forward winger that is just not doing the job that they should be doing. Take a look at what Josh Elliott-Wolf said earlier before the Seattle game. The Canucks' 4 highest paid wingers are having a tough time right now. Brock Boeser, 1 goal in his last 19. Jake DeBrusk, 1 goal in his last 16. Connor Garland, 1 goal in his last 12. Evander Kane, 1 goal in his last 11. You think about Vancouver being in a spot where they want to sell off the pending UFAs. But if you're going to contribute to a rebuild, you gotta go out there and at least trade away 1 or 2 of these other pieces that are signed on long-term. A Boeser, or a DeBrusk, or a Garland, or a Demko, or a Pettersson, or maybe all of those guys. Say what you want about keeping players on the team that want to be here. That's great. But if the Vancouver Canucks commit to all of these guys, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, if they want to be competitive in a few years, if that's the plan, they want to take a step back, not contend this year, not contend next year, what's going to help you more in 2028, in 2029? A Jake DeBrusk, who is 33 years old, or whatever prospects and picks you can get from trading him away today? These are all conversations that you can have about DeBrusk, about a Boeser, about a Garland. Evander Kane is a given. He's a pending UFA. But it is food for thought. Now, speaking about what Elliot Friedman said on Jake DeBrusk and the trade situation, let's shift over to what he said also about pending UFA Kiefer Sherwood. This guy should be traded soon, based off his contract status and based off the way the Vancouver Canucks are trending. Here's a tweet from MD Nux Zero. Elliot Friedman was reporting that the Sharks have interest in Kiefer Sherwood. A trade involving the Edmonton 2026 first and a prospect like Quinton Musty or Philip Bystead makes sense. Insiders are saying the demand, and therefore the ask for Sherwood, is extremely high. Now, look, Vancouver getting a first-round pick, quote-unquote, for Sherwood, I thought that was already going to be a big win. But if you can get a first and a Musty, for example, I like that even more. Let's just see here. Do we have Musty bookmarked? Yes, we do. Let's head over to him and his profile. San Jose Barracuda guy, 20-year-old left winger. He is a sub-point per game Barracuda in his first professional hockey league season. He's been very good, and he was a former 26th overall pick by San Jose 2 years ago. This I could live with, because honestly, the first-round pick from Edmonton, let's face it, it's probably going to be pretty low compared to other first-round picks. So if a playoff team wants to go out there and shell out some assets for Sherwood, if this becomes the standard, if this becomes the price, because demand and the ask for Sherwood, they're both really high, I would love to live in a world where Vancouver can get a first-round pick and a really nice first-round caliber prospect who was drafted recently for Kiefer Sherwood. Musty is young, too. He's 20 years old. He fits right in that timeline that Rutherford and Alvin are talking about. 20 to 23-year-olds, 20 to 25-year-olds. Musty's at the very beginning of that. He's going to continue to get better. You could also say that San Jose, as we've been seeing lately, they've got a lot of young talent. That's not even including Michael Misa, who's not on the team right now. Is there even room for Musty? Send him over to Vancouver. Give him a chance to shine in an organization that needs young talent. Speaking about young talent, let's go out there and talk about one guy that has started to surface in trade-related conversations amongst the Canucks fan base. He's young, technically. It's Linus Karlsson. Now, here's the thing about Linus Karlsson. I say he's young, but I honestly think that his status of being young comes more from the reputation rather than his actual age. This is because, did you know Linus Karlsson is 26 years old? He was drafted by San Jose in the third round of the 2018 draft. And this is a guy who was never able to fully break onto an NHL roster until essentially this year, where he's got 16 points in 35 games. That's on pace for 20 goals and 36 total points, which is awesome. Great for a first-year NHL player, but he is a pending UFA. Is it UFA status? Actually, let me see here. It actually might be an RFA contract expiration. Oh, no, never mind. He is a UFA Group 6. When a contract ends with RFA status, the player becomes a Group 6 UFA if several conditions are met. Okay, it's tough to fully understand what's going on here, but Linus Karlsson has gotten really good results on the ice lately. Goal yesterday against Seattle, goal against San Jose, 3-point night against the Boston Bruins, and now we are starting to see comments like this made by Arpon on BC. Satyr Shaw tweeted out Karlsson's 9th goal of the season, putting him in a 4-way tie with DeBrusk, Besser, and Drew O'Connor for second most goals on the year behind Sherwood. Arpon says sell high. Selling high on Linus Karlsson would be getting a third-round pick in return. You might as well just keep him and sign him, Mobile Isle said. Then you also had Sapster going out there and saying this: 26 years old is not young when it comes to players just starting to produce in the NHL. If you get a good offer for Karlsson, you take it. Now, there are folks going out there and disagreeing with this, but I do think it is reasonable to assume that if you wanted to build the Vancouver Canucks with a specific age demographic in mind, Linus Karlsson might just be at the very tail end of what is deemed young enough to be a part of that core. And I say that fully knowing that there are other players on the Vancouver Canucks like Jake DeBrusk, he's 29. Connor Garland is also 29. Brock Besser, 29. These guys are all in that sort of a range when it comes to their age. So what? Do you want to build a team that will become competitive once a 29-year-old Brock Besser is 32? 33? Is that kind of the way you want to build this squad? Okay, no, Besser's 28. I'm mistaken here. Is that the timeline for Vancouver? Wait until Connor Garland and Jake DeBrusk are in their 30s to be competitive one more time. You can make the same argument for Linus Karlsson, who is just approaching that similar age range too. But at the end of the day, this guy, because his contract does expire at the end of the year, because he's 26 years old, this is the first season where he's actually producing well. Do you run with this until he's 27, 28, 29, or do you use this as trade fodder as well? It all boils down to similar conversations that we can have about Jake DeBrusk and whether or not he is actual trade bait at this time for the Vancouver Canucks. But with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this Kiefer Sherwood update with San Jose? What are your thoughts on Linus Karlsson? Should he stay or should he go? And what are your thoughts on DeBrusk? Let me know in the comments all your opinions on this Vancouver Canucks trade update. I hope you enjoyed this British 99. And bye.